Why do you think that they've gone away from picking up the Darkseer for Mizu? Like, it hasn't received massive nerfs. Uh, the heroes that are good against it aren't exactly in
Radiant
the meta
team
right now with the
hits.
Enchantress and the Oracle. You
Medusa.
know, occasionally we've seen them come out to be able to have that offensive dispel off. But I don't know. I feel like it's just one of his absolute best
Dire
heroes from that
team
off lane,
pick.
and they're just completely ignoring it for some reason.
Um, it could be because people felt like Nyx was the best pairing, and we're not seeing a lot of Nyx. But I believe that Earth Spirit is very undervalued right now, and he's still a strong pairing with the Darkseer.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm not 100%
5
certain why.
seconds
Like, we
remaining.
really haven't seen a whole lot of Darkseer at all. Maybe it's also the
Radiant
carry
team
matchups that the
ban.
wall doesn't do as well into the late game with, like against a Terrorblade, a Dusa, a Luna. You're always very good with. At least you had that factor of dropping the wall down, and your late game prowess is strong. So maybe there's some difference there with the carries that are now getting picked.
10 seconds remaining.
Not seeing too much of the Luna either. Maybe that's a little bit of an aspect to it as
5
well. You know,
seconds
just these heroes
remaining.
that are fantastic if you're able to get off that wall of replica with them. They were really quick to pick up Alacrity, his Invoker. It's a decent Invoker game. I was kind of just thinking when I saw this Elder Titan, again, it's another one of these lanes where it's like, if you've got any kind of offensive dispel, it's going to be really effective at getting rid of the Astral Spirit, getting rid of the Bulldoze, and well, the
Dire
Invoker with the
team
Tornado
ban.
provides both of that. And also, if
Radiant
you go
team
Quas
ban.
Wex into the EMP, that's a good way to negate a lot of Medusa's effectiveness as well. Of course, with all that mana.
Do you feel like there's going to be a rough matchup here for Invoker though? Like Conker's already banned out. Is there is another one that
10
you're
seconds
worried about for
remaining.
Makoto to pick up?
5
Lena's pretty
seconds
nice. It's
remaining.
still in the pool. You know, you're going to be able to out harass the Invoker super early on. You can clear waves faster. You're going to have higher net worth super early. And if you are looking to go into this Quaswex
Dire
build
team
on the
ban.
Invoker, then obviously much
Radiant
less likely to
team
get a
pick.
Midas. And, you know, that does mean that Lena should be looking to try and snowball. The one thing, of course, you need to be worried about is that Galaxy Racer have a decent way to look to set up. It could be the Mirana or the Bane that looks to rotate through and get an early kill onto
10
whatever Neon choose
seconds
to go for
remaining.
the mid lane. But there's still a lot of heroes, all the Spirit heroes except for
5
the Void
seconds
Spirit
remaining.
available, I believe.
Yeah, I think they need a playmaker for Makoto. I think Void
Hmm.
was probably the better spirit because he could be a little bit tankier, but there's the argue for the
Dire
puck,
team
the
pick.
ember. They are going to go into the puck, so gives you great AoE control for the ET, for the Deucer right clicks. There's not a lot of guaranteed stuns at the moment. Like Bane finding Nightmare is you're never going to feel too comfortable
10
with that as
seconds
your only
remaining.
setup right now. And you've also banned the Faceless Void too and the Anti-Mage,
5
which is very good
seconds
versus the
remaining.
Puck. So I mean, in your dreams, still got some fresh pickings here with 30 seconds left. Are there any holes that you feel like they need to fill?
Um, what could they look to go for? I mean, what is Neon lacking is the other question. I mean, they don't have a ton of reliable stuns themselves. Like, it's just the Lion, and if you look to focus on maybe taking him out, things could be a little bit more difficult for them. But again, they are probably lacking a good way to start team fights as well. So, I mean, it's not the greatest Spectre game, but I'm just thinking, like, how are they going to try and initiate things?
I wonder if they Ursa. Because I don't think you can range. They are going to go TB.
Now
So the reason
select
why I wasn't
heroes.
thinking Terrorblade, I thought Terrorblade and Sniper, because they're very good versus Deuce to outrange. The reason why I didn't bring them up is because you're now going into an ET, which is very, very great with the natural order to get rid of all the base armor. People are slowly switching on that matchup though, just because the ET needs to be on top of you to get the armor mitigation. But secondary, you have a Lion. An instant Hex is incredible against the hero that needs to get either a BKB or a Sunder off. So there's big issues there. And Makoto as well, maybe through the early game, can also put a lot of pressure on the Terrorblade. But it looks like at the moment Galaxy Racer have a lot more priority on just the carry to carry matchup, which TB does do a very good job versus the Dusa.
He does, but I feel like this is a game where Makoto has all of the tools at his disposal to
Yeah.
just go nuts. You know, like we're going to see a lot more of an aggressive puck this time around, that's for sure. I don't think we'll be seeing any kind of Aeon disc or anything like that come out from him.
Yeah, and that's where the argument for the Ursa came into play, because China were a huge fan of the Ursa to deal with Dusa. I think through any major, they were going just the Fusel Blade, second Roche, sorry, first and then second Roche with the Aghanim shot and ending the game. Any instant Hex is always a bit of an issue for the Ursa, but it's great versus the Puck matchup because you don't care about the coil. And also the lane versus Spirit Breaker would have been very good if it was a position 3. So that's why I was favoring down that route. But I like that Galaxy Racer. They have a lot more of a win condition. And this is a team that also are really strong as the game goes on. Like they have a lot of confidence in their self to win games in the late game.
Yeah, they definitely have the clutch potential with their experienced players coming through. I feel like Makoto's going to make In Your Dreams life very difficult, though. You know, super early on, TB's not going to have a lot of stats. Again, high armor, but with all the magic damage that he's going to be able to pump out, I think it's just going to be too much for the TB to handle. And then, you know, even later on, obviously it's not a factor super early with Zhao being a position
Prepare
5 Elder
for
Titan,
battle.
just like what you mentioned before, the natural order is eventually going to kick in, but it's not going to be super early on, right? Like it's a position 5, you're not going to have a lot of farm, and the armor reducing component is based on the actual hero, not the astral spirit.
So I wonder if this is then going to be a factor of how Januel can play the lane. Like we were very impressed with still his performance overall yesterday, but also through the group stages. So I wonder if maybe, like, I don't know if Zhao having a good lane will then help out with them dealing with the Terrorblade. Like maybe he can somehow get levels, maybe an earlier item as well, somehow on a position 5, just to further enable him to be in the middle of the fight.
I feel like things like a
30
phase boots, you know,
seconds
it's
to
pretty
battle.
standard for the POS 5 Elder Titans, just to enable a little bit more of that flexibility. You know, you want to be able to get into position, get that natural order off, and even being able to clean up, let's say, a Bane is going to be incredibly helpful. They're going to be able to dodge out this little bit of a cheeky smoke play that they went for with Galaxy Racer. Collison scouting out that there's some kind of vision around. Has to be careful where he drops that sentry, though.
The battle begins.
Arrow.
Ooh. I don't believe they follow up there. Should
It's
be.
a 3-for-1, though.
How you feel about this draft between Neon and Galaxy Racer? As Genuel might get first blood? Another Astral up shortly, but he will not continue to chase down Polyson. So, is there a side you're favoring with the draft at the moment?
I would say I'm mildly favoring Neon right now. I just don't think there's enough to deal with this puck. And yes, the TB carry-to-carry matchup is better against the Medusa, but I don't think it's going to get to the stage where TB is going to have a good enough game.
I'm gonna side on Galaxy Racer just because I think they have a lot more scaling potential, and I mean, if Alacrity he might go like earn Midas. I don't know if he needs Spirit Vessel. I know you're a huge fan of Hustler. It's actually gonna give up first blood, I believe. In Your Dream needs an extra right click afterwards. Ooh, you'll get it. That Ring of Regen. Not enough there for Hustler to sustain through the high damage that they had through Metamorphosis, and that's a nice heal to find.
Yeah, it's a good way to start for a Terrorblade. If you're a Galaxy Racer fan, that's exactly what they need. Any little thing that's going to provide TB with some extra stats so that when Makoto comes calling, you've got some ability to withstand a lot of the damage.
Yeah, so back on what I was saying, I just believe that the late game prowess that Galaxy Racer will have, like we've seen Mizu on the Tide, and he can have some solid performances. There's going to be a double Ravage, potentially Invoker late game with the Aghanim Scepter, and Neon don't have like that big punch ultimate. Yes, it's nice with Coil, maybe into Earth Splitter, and if Medusa's got a lot of damage, but I'm just worried about what the Tide and Invoker can do together just to cut away maybe 3 of the heroes, 2 of the heroes on Neon, and then I feel like Terrorblade can then solo the Dusa.
You don't reckon they have the big punch ultimate? Like, sure, they don't have something like a Tide Hunter into an Invoker combo, but I feel like in terms of the supports, you've got a lot more scaling potential than a Bane Mirana does. So it's much more even across the board right now for Neon, for what they're able to do in the super late game.
Yeah, I definitely say that the the Lion probably gives you a lot more scaling potential just with how you can start fights in your burst, but I mean, I don't know how much priority to give this Mirana Moonlight Shadow. Like, I feel like it's going to help a huge amount here with setting up for fights on the side of Galaxy Race. And Mizu's getting punched at the moment. Genuel again on the Elder Titan will just catch the last sword damage before it gets under the tower. Mizu didn't want to pop the Selv. He's happy with just getting, oh, I say happy, probably didn't want to make the trip back to base, but felt like costing the Selv was not enough there.
Joachim's just going in the region, actually walking underneath the tier 2 tower. A little bit of a misplay. He could have gone for that bounty rune. Just looked to deny a little bit of gold away, and Joachim's going to pick it up instead. I think he even got the experience as well, so nice little bit of value there for the Mirana.
Does look like mid's gone pretty well for Alacrity at the moment. It's got the...
Putting through a lot of good performances, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of the last bad one that we've seen from him, to be honest.
Yeah, been very impressed with how Alacrity's been playing so far through the group stages. We also got to see them as well for QH, and he was looking solid over there too. But the early null and stats that he has is a bit of a damage advantage over Makoto. Hence why he's got the 18 last hits compared to the 17. He did miss a couple under the tower. Was looking a little bit better previously, but you know, either mid laners have very good rotation potential. So we'll see, you know, maybe if it's going to be the runes that can enable it. Do you feel like, though, we might see some rotations from the supports to mid?
Potentially, I think you're going to need to wait for Alacrity to have the earn minimum, just to be able to have that initial assistance with setting up, or for the follow-up kill. They are lacking a little bit of damage right now, so even if you had, for example, a Bane Mirana combination into the Cold Snap earn, it's going to be a little difficult.
Top lane, and another use of the Metamorphosis here for In Your Dream. You know, it can get to the stage where you want to TP up the Invoker maybe with their next use. Now it's a bit too late. Again, I've always said that I'm a huge fan of the Terrorblade combined with someone who can kind of enable a kill with this huge damage spike. The Nightmare, not the greatest way to set up for those.
Not amazing, but you can still just get off the reflection afterwards, and so you've still got the
Radiant's
slow onto
courier
someone
has
like
been
the Lion.
That is true. Gives you some aspect to continue the chases. Yeah, they're doing that down bottom unknown. A lot of health coming back through from the one. He's lucky he's got Genuel with the support too, because this Elder Titan is putting in an immense amount of work to protect Unknown's Medusa.
Yep, went the early point into the natural order as well, realizing that Echo Stomp's probably not going to be that impactful.
Oh,
as
they killed her
actually get
still.
the kill.
I didn't think they'd have the damage, and now Mizu should tank it through as Joachim just gets some distance away for the trade, and all of a sudden Mirana picks up a double.
That was good of you.
He does, but
You're gonna say
wonder
the
if there
urn?
was a little bit of lack of comms.
Yeah.
Because we got 2 urns right now on Galaxy Racer.
Very interesting. I wonder if it's just for the lane. They feel like they were going to find kills with it, and he wanted the extra utility and stats they could get. On the river, Parson's got a great way to set up for Alacrity's round of spells, and this is an early kill for the Invoker to pick up, giving him a little influx of gold towards the Spirit Vessel.
So it gives him those couple of urn charges too. So going to assist with any future ganks that might look to come through. Hustler's standing behind Makoto for now. Don't think he was spotted by the creep wave considering it's nighttime. But it's feeling like it might be a little bit difficult for Neon now just because of that. I wonder though, with the Mirana, like, could you have, as they land another stun onto Unknown? He's underneath the tower, so he should be safe. But would it not be have been more effective to go into like a super early Yule Scepter just to be able to combat this puck?
I'm grateful to you.
Gives you a nice way as well if the Spirit Breaker's charging. Gets rid of the silence to kite the Medusa.
Even Atos would have been fine. If you wanted to go like super greedy.
I wonder if he feels like he's not going to get that much farm. Mirana can get a decent amount.
I mean, he's using his time every single... Unless there's a clear kill attempt available in lane, Joachim's rotating through the jungle, getting that arrow off onto some kind of hard creep. We'll get the Hellbear here. Probably.
It is a very early lead though for Galaxy Racer. Top and mid have gone exceptionally well, and even though Mizu is behind the Deucer in the net worth, he's still at least slowing down the farm that we're seeing early on from Unknown. And your Dream can just farm the jungle at an exceptional rate now if they want to give that lane to a support.
Yeah, and you can tell that Mizu's not really going into one of these farm priority Tide Hunters, you know, the ones that want to just sit there behind the tower and soak up a lot of damage. He wants to get active. He's skilled up the Ravage immediately at level 6, realizing that, you know, you need to try and continue to stay on top of this Medusa.
Genuel. It's going to run back into Alacrity. We're gonna see the.
Who's gonna get the urn charge?
Yeah, that's the question I was just gonna ask. Who's gonna get the valuable urn? Alacrity's still in a bit of trouble. Xiaoyu already level 6 is gonna time the Nether Strike to perfection. As the flurry of stuns lock in the Invoker, preventing any escape here with the Ghost Walk, and it's a big kill to find. But surprisingly, the net worth lead in fact continuing to grow afterwards.
You have to wonder, like, how much of that death was because he wanted to be the one closer to the unit when it died. So Jokem looked to back off a little bit there, and well, ends up costing Alacrity his life after getting 2 kills super early on into the laning stage. For it to turn around like that's a pretty big deal, as Hustler, he's getting initiated on here. Might cause a Dream Coil setup though.
Alacrity rotating. Looks like it will at least be the deterrent here for Makoto not to stick around after the beautiful coil. So another kill going the way of Galaxy Racer. And this could be a bit scary too, because they've got a great lineup to be able to infiltrate the jungle, where there's already a double stack of the Ancients, a double of the Hard, and they really need to funnel everything they can into the Medusa, considering he's quite a stage behind his counterpart in the position 1.
Yeah, in your dream, speaking of triangle camps, he's just gone there. He's TB one of the best junglers super early on, just because you can use your illusions to tank up a lot of the damage, and again, your high armor, it just enables the easy way to take it, even using the illusion to stack the ancient camp, unless it dies. Well, you should be able to get it off.
And they also have a very solid way to take towers at an early stage with the Terrorblade. Like, Deucer doesn't have as much involvement with tower taking, whereas Terrorblade can still get involved a little bit earlier with his itemization and whenever the meta is available. Of course, it's a longer cooldown, but you know, if you can link that into a kill and then an objective, we'll see that Neon are going to have to rely a little bit more on the catapult timings.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
They just had their catapult arrowed in the mid lane. You've got a siege creep pushing into them as well. Makoto makes the TP through. It'll push out the wave, but again, it's just more rotations being committed,
on top lane,
allowing the TP to farm.
Alacrity's TPing up, in fact. They got Yokem as well that was hiding in the wings. Who do they want to target?
It's now, though.
Xiaoyu's a bit difficult to kill. They can find him in the next 10 seconds. They will just get the vision, at least with the arrow, and you know, more urn charges. Yokem, he tried to get out of range. He even actually backpacked the urn there, so yeah, they're at least a nice heads up play, I suppose. We saw, you know, arguing that there potentially some communication issues with the double urn, but he's like, you know what, I'll still try and enable you, Alacrity.
I mean, what else could he have gone? I talked about the Yules. Maybe... Medallion's not that great. I was just thinking little things that give him a good amount of mana regen as well, super early, which, you know, the Mirana needs. She wants to be roaming, constantly present on the map.
Polisson might be in trouble.
Mizu's in position to get a decent Ravage off if they look to commit to this fight.
You saw the angle he took, kind of forcing back Radiant. He opened up that stairs and made it very difficult to confront the Bane. He's still pushing super aggressively.
Kodo's got Blink Dagger now, so you do have to be a little bit careful here. The rune's going to spawn top. I wonder if he's going to go for the Haste Rune Snatch. Yes, he will.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So if they had meta, he could come. Bit unfortunate they don't. I don't believe they can take the tower now. I don't even know if you can force a fight here, because if you get a kill, I don't believe you transition into the objective without the Terrorblade. You'll probably lose at least 1 or 2 of your own in return, unless it's an incredible Ravage. So yeah, they're gonna disperse from the area, and in fact it's Neon that are looking to hunt the Terrorblade, but In Your Dream is already aware of this, has gotten out of dodge and back to his triangle.
Paulus in good positioning as well, realizing that, look, until that meta's available and he's looking to try and join us, I'm just going to stick around. We haven't seen them for quite a while. They would have seen the blink reveal as well on Makoto's puck, so they want to make sure that he's sitting fairly safe here. He's probably going to leave the TB. I just wanted his level 7, I suppose, but yeah, puck revealing on the bot side means that Paulson doesn't have to hang around.
It's not a Midas on the Spirit Breaker. God damn, he's not following Mizu's suit, but he's still very farm. Double brace off, phase boots, working into the Shadow Blade. I say very farm, his lowest net worth out of all the cores, but he looks farmed with his items right now. A little bit
Yeah, sure.
deceiving.
I think you need to have more than one kill still at the 13.5-minute mark of the game, right? You've got a Spirit Breaker who you've committed into a core role. Yes, you need to be right-clicking creeps, but I think the way to do it is exactly what Mizu did, you know. Be in difficult areas of the map.
Top
They
lane.
found here, it's Zhao. I think you're going to be happy with just giving one kill up, as long as Unknown's not going to fall as well.
Scott,
Oh,
Zhao, you
positioning
swing
at
on
Ravage.
over. Ravage just the nick of time. They just want to prioritize down the Medusa. They know how squishy she is early on, Makoto. Trying to provide some assistance here with the coil onto multiple heroes, but it's not enough to keep their position 1 alive. As now they can chase through the Spirit Breaker. He was also putting his body on the line there, but again, Galaxy Racer bringing their numbers and they don't lose anyone.
It's a big misplay as well, with the charge coming through, essentially just right into the Ravage going off just in time to be able to prevent that,
Dire's middle
and
tower
not even
is
able to get the
under
cleanup
attack.
kill onto the Mirana. With the EMP draining all of Zhao Yu's mana, he couldn't have that instant Nether Strike afterwards.
Makoto feels like they're lacking a little bit of damage here, so he's going into the Dagon, in fact, after the blink completed.
I
Radiant's
don't know how
top
effective
tower
this
is under
smoke's going to be,
attack.
though. You still don't have the Dream Coil, you know, they're just looking for one target, anything, to try and create some additional pressure onto the map. Alacrity would be fantastic, especially with Unknown playing around this mid lane.
Seems like
Dire's
he's pretty
middle
aware.
tower is under attack.
Deucer is
Dire's
aggressive as
structures
hell
are
with her
fortified.
positioning right now as well, so kind of the telltale sign here for Alacrity. They also scan just to guarantee.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The way that they're moving on Galaxy Racer, right? Like, always making sure that they're staying right on top of the high ground. Now they might look to move and get the arrow connection onto Hustler again. Jokev doing such a great job.
They can converge on the mid lane now. It's a bit of issues where they catch afterwards. Mizu's got Blink, but with Ravage on cooldown, and
Radiant's
Alacrity
middle
was in a
tower
position to
is
follow
under
up, but
attack.
he's almost got Midas completed after the Spirit Vessel. Like, they are so incredibly
Radiant
farmed, and
structures are
there's some big issues right now for the side of Neon.
They immediately make the rotation up to Zhao Yu to try and punish the fact that you know, he left to join the lane. Nightmare with that long cast range setup into the arrow. Might even be committing the Fiend's Grip here. Not even any need with Alacrity looking to join with the Spirit Vessel. So I like the move that Zhao Yu made. You know, this is where you want to be as a Spirit Breaker, just in relative safety pushing out lanes. But if you've got this Bane Mirana combo, then you know you don't even need to use any kind of ultimates to be able to punish it quite heavily.
They can't even kill Polison either. I feel like the avenue back in, they need the Lion Blink. I think that's going to be huge for at least getting some pickoffs right now, because Makoto he doesn't have someone to play with him. Which, we've seen some solid coils previously, but I feel like then you need the levels from the supports to output that damage, because Dusa doesn't have enough at the moment. And they're going to go into a fight with 2 points in Ravage, so this is scary. They might just dump everything on Unknown. Radiant, they've got to try and protect her once again, but the men are completely wasted. Meanwhile, actually on the back line, they found the Fiend's Grip connection.
Oh no!
So Makoto's going to get brought down, the ward on the high ground, enabling this, and Mizu will jump in. No messing around. He doesn't see the Dusa, but he's happy with dropping the Ravage onto 2 of the heroes. As they'll clean up multiple. Oh no! They just found him! No! The meat border give vision as well.
Just 21 and a half minutes in
Radiant's
that
top
game
tower
against
is under
SMG. Do you
attack.
reckon it might be a little faster than this? Because
Radiant's top
TB,
tower
he's
has
spiraling
fallen.
out of control. You know, again, then you had Unknown caught out with the EMP. He pops the
Radiant
magic wand
structures
charges,
are
but it wasn't
fortified.
enough to get that Stone Gaze for any kind of counter initiation. And again, another great setup play by Paulson. His Bane Elemental is easily, I think, one of his best heroes.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see a lot more of it as well through the Galaxy Racer games. You know, they've got another series after 2, and of course one more game, and this is a hero that we've been pretty impressed with whenever it's been played so far through the groups, but still hasn't seen as much of the limelight as what I was expecting with the games we've seen so far.
It feels like the Medusa now, like, you mentioned their difficulty in being able to take this man-on-man team fight against the Terrorblade, but right now the concern is just living, you know, trying to obviously have the first fight in Manta style is quite important, but, you know, Skadi, very standard second item, but it's still a long ways away,
Radiant's
and
top tower
it's,
is under attack.
feeling like it's a long road to nowhere right now. I wonder if you even need to try and use those, Manta illusions to just put them into a lane, try and have that little bit of ghost push, get that extra farm in that capacity, because it feels like if a real hero shows on the side lanes, they're just going to die every single time from this Pulse and Jokam combination. I don't know about charging in Xiaoyu, at least he's got the Shadow Blade, but he's standing underneath the Sentry Ward.
He's just going to target the supports as well, just to stop the counter initiation potential. They're still hunting Xiaoyu though with the Sunstrike landing. Jokam, unfortunately, not gonna have the damage to clean him off. They will aim just for Hustler. I mean, if you can't get the Spirit Breaker, get the next easiest target. You see they can't make plays though. Like, every single lane is shoved out. This is the big issue when you go against a Terrorblade who's had such an incredible start. Like, his illusions can already clear multiple, you know, waves and camps at once, where, like, how do you make plays across the map?
Great
Radiant's
difficulty.
bottom
Honestly, I
tower
think the
is under
biggest
attack.
game changer was just getting that
mid
first
lane.
blood onto the line.
They've got the Fiend script. Ravage answered afterwards. A little bit of misexecution, but the Yord's actually stopping Xiaoyu from getting hit.
I don't think you're killing this Tide Hunter. You know, you're trying to turn around with 2 supports, and honestly, Spirit Breaker feels a little bit like a support so far, with 0, 4, and 1, nearly less net worth than the Mirana.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
When do you think they're going to call this one? If we had to put a time on it,
Radiant's
What are we
middle
going for?
tower is under attack.
I feel like Neon are just saying, like, alright, at least let's try and go for a team fight with this Dagon. We've got the Elder Titan, the Natural Order might amp up the damage even further, but look at Paulson up here. He's just trying to bully Zhao as much as possible. It feels like a bit of a bait to me.
maybe it's just waiting for extra heroes to show. Like, Xiao Yu's like, okay, I'll come over, but luckily enough, they don't have detection at the moment.
Space for the rest of the team. I mean, Hustler doesn't have his Blink Dagger yet. He might be able to get it from this creep wave, not if he misses the CS, but Makoto, he was able to shove out the mid wave a little bit. It gives a little bit more space over to Unknown, so it's not like that death on Zhao is for nothing. He does create a lot of map
Dire's middle
presence
tower is
now
under
that
attack.
Neon are able to have, but it's probably going to cost them this Roche. Use the Earth Splitter as well, one of the best things to have around any kind of Roche pit fight.
Poor Hustler.
He was so close. 100 gold away.
That's just
Get
so...
the charge onto Paulson. I don't know if this is enough, even dropping the Sentry Ward down preemptively. What a guy.
They also TP'd in Alacrity behind him just to make sure. So... And he's about to have his
He's totally
minus...
fine.
is under
Yeah,
attack.
look, it just meatballs the entire wave. It gets destroyed, and with that minus, it's an extra 600 gold in a matter of seconds. So 400 gold away from that Aghanim Scepter. That'll be around the time that the Ravage is going to be available.
Radiant's courier
Oh,
has been
Deuce has
killed.
got Skadi. I mean,
Doesn't have Scotty.
Radiant's top tower is under
It's rough.
attack.
Bounty.
Well, they make an attempt. Right at the target.
Dagon.
It's the burst potential. They've found Deuce though in the middle lane. And they can't cancel the Fiend's grip. So Unknown just gets absolutely bodied with no assistance.
You're dead.
Surprised that Joker didn't look to
Radiant's
blink in,
middle
get the
tower
Earth Spike
is
off
under
from the
attack.
trees, but obviously not
Radiant's
opting
middle
to do with the
tower
double
has fallen.
damage. They're even going to try and continue to push on forward with Mizu sitting on the front lines. Only a couple seconds away from the creep wave, so yep, backdoor protection not going to be there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Kodo will
Radiant's
waste as much time as
structures are
possible.
fortified.
Believe with the glyph they'll look to reset. So that is meta at least on cooldown now, so they can't take Roche. I wonder if they don't care. Like, I feel like you are comfortable still forcing a fight. You've got Ravage, you've got Aghanims now. I really don't think they need it. Like, just honestly force Neon to come take a fight in that area.
Visibility.
I mean, they've got complete
Radiant
vision
are
advantage,
scanning.
right? Like all of the high ground around outside of the one right in front of the Radiant Ancients is owned by Galaxy Racers, so it's going to need to be a smoke that catches them off guard. Maybe Makoto might look to put himself out
Mizu's
there as
invis.
bait a little bit.
Oh, he's in the middle of the fight. They don't know him. They don't know exactly where he is, so drop the Ravage. There's no follow up the moment to the last second. Cataclysm will fly as Alacrity gets the combo out. And now Dusa is in no man's land. The men are slowly being
Gets the ulti
burned.
off.
We'll have some space here to reposition. They're even going to try and buy back on Xiaoyu, but they'll just avoid Unknown, kill off the backline. Now they can go back into the Dusa. With all the Skadi slow ticking him out, there is no way she can scurry to safety. And on the backline, Alacrity's looking to battle. Xiaoyu just brought back, so they'll turn into a dieback. Down for 70 seconds, and Makoto? Did they break the coil?
Yeah, he snapped the coil, but there was an Echo Stomp happening on top of him, so he
okay.
would have died anyway.
Man, Mizu's doing so much damage. He's got the Ag shot, Makoto. They found vision of him. Phase shift's available. Oh my god.
It still feels pretty over. You know, 18k net worth, buybacks being forced on multiple heroes, including the cause, and yet that race between the Mirana and the Spirit Breaker just looks to continue with who's actually going to have higher net worth at the end of this game. Roche secure as well.
Roshan has fallen to the dark.
Mortality.
Well, you couldn't kill him once. I don't know if you can kill him the second time. And I guess silver linings. TB's definitely not the best Aegis carrier. You want to more than often use everything combined together in one life.
Sure,
we're grasping
but I
here.
feel like you don't need the metamorphosis, you know? You're just going to be able to move up onto that high ground and start hitting the towers in your melee form, and then, you know, if it's a good team fight, then you can pop it. Speaking of the TB, he's been caught out a little bit here while he's trying to farm, but it's a bit eager.
That wasn't even the 15 Moonlight Shadow talent. I wonder if they were afraid of that. Because Dire were nowhere near, but again, Radiant have zero vision across the map. Actually, they've just placed one around that triangle. And they're also about to lose that.
Zhao Yu got hit by the... Oh, the Yules!
Tower is under
He
attack.
dodged out the Finger of Death. Jokem God.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Now they're gonna go back up. They got the catapult. Better if they want to use it.
Ravage.
Oh no.
Cataclysm is queued up.
Oh, it's just been the Anchor Smash Siege. 2.1 second cooldown.
Radiant's top tower has
That's
fallen.
what it is. Screw the Ravage. It's gonna be difficult for them to craft the way to start this fight.
Radiant's top barracks. has fallen.
Makoto will do all he can here with the puck to
Radiant's
slowly
top barracks has
poke them
fallen.
down. Sunstrike is on cooldown now for another 20. This gives him a window maybe to
Dire's
jump.
middle tower is under attack.
But it looks like they haven't been able to find a way. I mean, Unknown is still shy of the Skadi. He's going to try and disrupt the back line.
Radiant's
A nice
middle
echo to
tower
follow up as well. Makoto will join, but Xiaoyu's get ripped apart. Another incredible Ravage from Mizu jumping onto the backline to catch the supports as they were looking to join the fight. And yeah, with two falling, they just instantly tap out as Xiaoyu, he's had enough. The DC is there, and well, for Galaxy Racer, man, what a game one performance.
Yeah, it felt like we didn't. Obviously, the Midas was another differentiating factor, but the difference between Xiao Yu, Spirit Breaker, and Mizu's is that he never really felt like he was making the most out of playing in that more difficult lane. You know, once the tower was taken on the bottom side of the map for Neon, that really felt like it should have been his territory because you know that it's where they might try and be going for kills. You know that you have the capability to quickly push it out just by hitting all the creeps charging away to another part of the map. And it means that the Deucer isn't going to be the main focus for a lot of this early aggression. And like I said before, the fact that Ian Dream was able to pick up that kill super early on, the first blood going his way, meant that any kind of rotation that Makoto might have hoped to be going for just didn't end up happening because, he already had a power treads. He had some nice early items there on Ian Dream's Terrorblade.
Overall, I mean, there's not much you can say that Galaxy Racer didn't do well. 5 deaths, not a flawless game by any stage, but I mean, 5 deaths, you can really argue you're so goddamn close with how they perform.
Double earn. There we go.
There we go.
Mistake that they
but
made.
It was also cool to see how Yokan was playing around that. Like, he was consistently backpacking his earn just to make sure Alacrity was at least going to get the charges. So it was cool to see him making, some micro plays throughout the fights to offset some of those issues. But Galaxy Racer, there's really nothing you can highlight they did bad here. Just an overall exceptional execution of this game. And for Neon, they're looking for a way back into the series again. I mean, they're needing some much needed victories here. They've only got 3 more series, 2 more if you're not including this one. So let's say 5 more games, and they're currently on the bottom of the table. And they, at the moment, it's not looking good. But it's a new game coming up shortly. We'll see if the new draft and maybe just a refresh in the mind is enough for them to come back, or if Galaxy Racer can take the series 2-0.